Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Michigan moves closer to enacting a so-called red flag law, providing a way to remove guns from those who may be less likely to use them responsibly. Those red flag bills are now headed to the governor's desk, and she's expected to sign them into law.
So that means that a judge will actually have the power to remove guns from people deemed to be posing a danger to themselves or others. Jacqueline Francis is live tonight on that story for us. And Jacqueline, these votes are falling right along party lines.
That's right, and the red flag legislation was the most contentious of the gun safety package, with many Republicans speaking out against it. But at the end of the day, state Democrats made it happen. Michigan's Attorney General saying this move will save lives.
The state of Michigan is ushering in a new era of gun reform, and this includes red flag laws, which are meant to get guns out of the hands of those deemed a threat. The state Senate passing the legislation today. Here's how it'll work. Under the law, a partner, former spouse, family member, law enforcement, or mental health professional can petition a court to have a person's firearms removed temporarily if they are deemed to be a risk. They have to then prove they are not. Michigan will become the 20th state to adopt such laws. Attorney General Dana Nessel celebrating the move, writing, quote, "What is clear after years of witnessing horrific gun violence across school campuses, places of worship, and elsewhere is that some people simply should not have firearms. And often, whether the need to remove a person's access to a firearm is acute or enduring, there are egregious and abundant warning signs. This law will allow concerned friends, family, and law enforcement to act in a way that prevents senseless gun violence and deaths in our state."
Once a judge decides or determines that someone's gun should be taken away from them, it'll be up to local law enforcement to actually go and remove the weapons from that individual. Reporting live in Detroit, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
All right, Jacqueline, we appreciate it. Thank you. Ahead of 5:30, we're going to take you to one county where in Metro Detroit, they are preparing to not follow these new gun safety laws, why they believe they have the right to do it. Ahead in the next half hour.
Late this afternoon, the Supreme Court temporarily extended its stay on mifepristone. That's the commonly used abortion pill.
And the justices are giving themselves 2 more days to decide whether restrictions on the drug should be imposed. We're now expecting a decision Friday. Bree Jackson in Washington with what is at stake.
For now, the fate of the abortion pill, mifepristone, is still in limbo, but the issue of access to an abortion remains in the middle of legal and political fights. The Supreme Court temporarily allowing mifepristone, the pill most commonly used to end a pregnancy, to remain available without tighter restrictions until at least late Friday. Abortion! Safe and legal! The Supreme Court's decision on the fate of the abortion pill follows a Texas federal judge's ruling suspending the drug's FDA approval and comes less than a year after the High Court overturned Roe v. Wade. House Democrats are pushing legislation to protect reproductive rights.
This is about the Republicans' ongoing quest to criminalize abortion care in this country.
They want to control women in every state and every zip code, and they are weaponizing the courts to advance their dangerous agenda.
Republicans are divided on how far restrictions should go and their message on the issue heading into a presidential election.
This is not enough to just go criticize the Democrats. You've got to actually offer something, and I don't think we did that.
As you know, Republicans have not won the popular vote in years, and this is an issue that is going to exacerbate that in 24.
The Biden administration is digging in and preparing for legal and political battles to come.
Here on, we are going to continue to fight for women's reproductive rights. This is something where the majority of Americans agree with us.
A fight extending from the courts to the campaign trail.
And today, the maker of the generic form of mifepristone filed a lawsuit against the FDA, saying that its rights would be violated if its ability to sell the drug is impaired, adding yet another layer to the legal battles already happening. In Washington, Bree Jackson, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Bree. By the way, today's Supreme Court announcement says nothing about how the court will ultimately resolve the case, though it could indicate there is some division among the 9 justices. Melvindale High School students were forced out of school and then had to head to the football field today because of a threat.
Take a look. This is video from Sky 4 over the school this afternoon. Police set up a perimeter before checking things out inside the school. Students were then sent home a short time later. Last summer, Carson Dunn was out at Camp Dearborn in Milford having fun in the water when the unthinkable happened. Carson fell from a swim platform and hit his chest on a ladder. And now his family is saying that platform should never have been there. Megan Woods is live on this story for us tonight. Megan, this lawsuit doesn't seem to be about the money.
That's right, Kimberly. Right now, we know that they're asking for up to $25,000. But for the first time today, we spoke to Carson's mother, and this is the first time since Carson's death. And she says there is no amount of money to bring her son back, but she hopes to prevent anyone else going through this same thing that her family is going through.
I relive it every day.
Carly Burgess will never forget July 6, 2022, the day her son died after falling from this play structure, the Jungle Float.
He missed his footing and he grabbed the railing that was not properly secured and somehow slipped and fell and hit his chest on the ladder that was underneath of the point where he was jumping.
She says his heart stopped in the ambulance. Today, 9 months later, her attorney, Vin Johnson, has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Dearborn, who runs the site in Milford Township, the Michigan companies that own the Jungle Float, and the Tennessee companies that made it.
All of them should be held accountable and responsible, and what we want is this thing to be eliminated and never have any 10-year-old child ever injured or killed again.
He says Carson's autopsy results showed the 10-year-old had an internal injury that led him to bleed to death.
He had a torn vena cava, and a vena cava laceration is what it's called. We see those in high-speed crashes.
So as the temperatures rise and families head to the beach, Carly is pleading.
No matter how much your kids beg you to go on it, don't let them. Carson assured me, you know, I'm 10 years old, Mom. I'm a big kid now. I can do this.
And here she is months later, still grieving, still trying to carry on. She does want to thank the community for the outpouring support, especially creating a scholarship in his honor. And if you want to give and donate to that, we have information on clickondetroit.com. Back to you.
And Megan, what is the city of Dearborn saying about this?
So we reached out to the city of Dearborn multiple times. We haven't heard back, but the attorney did bring up the fact that, you know, a concern here is that governmental immunity. But when we talk to the family about it, they say it doesn't matter, that no one should be immune to be, you know, held accountable for what happened to Carson. And if something like this happens somewhere else again.
Yeah. And we appreciate them coming forward and talking about Carson's story. Megan, thanks.
The white homeowner accused of shooting a black teenager who rang his doorbell remains free on bond tonight with some restrictions. 84-year-old Andrew Lester made his first court appearance in Kansas City just a short time ago. He pleaded not guilty to 2 felony charges. Lester is accused of shooting 16-year-old Ralph Yarl, who says he rang the wrong doorbell while trying to pick up his brothers. He's recovering at home. While on bond, Lester cannot possess weapons, cannot leave the state of Missouri, and cannot have any contact with the victim or his family. He'll be back in court June 1st. All right, now to the weather. So take a live look outside from our Ann Arbor Skycam. Sun is out, temperatures are on the rise. It feels pretty good.
It does. We've got another summer-like day in store for tomorrow, too.
Yeah, let's send it over to Brian Sherman. He is in for Kim Adams tonight with an update on our forewarned forecast.
Yeah, hey there, Karen and Kimberly. I'm giving you an early look at the 7-day forecast here because this is just going to tell the whole story on where we're going to go over the next day or so. 79 for tomorrow. The daytime high will be into the upper 70s, lower 80s. It's near record warmth as we head into tomorrow afternoon, but that's also going to come with the chance of some rain showers heading our way as well. Tower cam right now over in Southfield, not a bad day here. Sunshine, a little bit of high cloud cover rolling around, but we are rain free. Most everyone into the 50s. 52 right now here in Detroit, same for Ann Arbor and over in Lapeer. 50 right now as you're working over into Monroe. Compared to where we were this time yesterday, we were into the 40s, so we're running about 5 to 10 degrees warmer this afternoon. Expect that warming trend to continue tomorrow as well. Keeping my eyes off to the north and west for some showers, maybe an embedded thunderstorm. I think we stay dry, most of us, overnight tonight. As a warm front lifts north, we could see a few showers north late tonight. We're into the 40s overnight tonight before that warmer air arrives tomorrow. We'll talk about that in your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Good time to download that Forewarn weather app with rain on the way. ExactTrack, 4D, Future Track, and weather alerts in the palm of your hand. You can find it in your favorite app store. Just search WDIV.